Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today the Overwatch team released a new developer update discussing a new feature called Avoid as Teammate. So I thought I'd just make this quick video discussing the positives and negatives of this feature and my thoughts on it overall. So to give you a quick rundown of this feature, it allows you to select up to 2 players to avoid having as a teammate for 7 days. And as Jeff describes it, it's been introduced as a way for players to sort of control their own gameplay experience, where for example there might be situations where they get a teammate doing something that they're not too crazy about, but at the same time it's not like a reportable offense, so they have this option to just avoid them being a teammate completely. And in situations where these people are doing something that's reportable, such as throwing games, being toxic, or just bullying, well, this gives the player the option to do something immediately, rather than having to wait for their reports to be actioned. Now, in terms of what I think about this feature personally, I think that there are definitely pros and cons to it. I don't think that it's an amazing feature that is 100% required, but at the same time there are elements that I can see will improve the gameplay experience for most people. So let's start off with the positives. Now, the best thing about being able to avoid someone as a teammate, in my opinion, is that it gives you a bit more control over who you play with, and I think this is great, especially for smaller regions such as Australia or the Oceanic region where I play in, where oftentimes you get queued with the same people game after game again, and if you get someone throwing on your team, they're probably going to do the same thing the next game, for example. So with this new option, you can avoid them and technically not have to worry about playing with them again. Apart from that though, the only other good thing I can see is that it lets you immediately avoid someone if they're being really toxic to you, so you can report them and then not have to worry about getting them in your next game again. Okay, so let's talk about the negatives, because the more I think about it, the more I realize that there are a lot of flaws with this new feature. First of all, I think that the Overwatch competitive community is already toxic enough as it is, and I think that this feature is all focused around negativity and pointing out what players are doing wrong and allowing people to abuse the system to effectively alienate these players who might not even be doing anything wrong in the first place. What if, for example, you had a really popular streamer who played in a region that didn't have that many players and they all decided to avoid them? Does that mean that they'll never get a game, or does that mean that they'll have to play in a lower rank? Or what if you had a smaller region where particular players are already sort of ostracized enough simply because they don't play meta picks, and then everyone else decides to avoid them? Does that mean that they have to stop playing the heroes they love, or does this mean that they simply can't play at all because they can't find a game? In a way, and I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, I think this feature is ironic because it's encouraging an environment where picking non-meta heroes should be vilified and bullying should be encouraged. I mean, I think this has been a long-running problem of Overwatch because Blizzard doesn't really have any features in place that allow us to congratulate or to reward positive behavior. And at the same time, it's reinforcing that image that non-meta heroes are completely trash, and it's giving more power to those players who are already shaping the meta, who pretty much pick the heroes that we see every single game. For example, imagine an Overwatch streamer who had like tens of thousands of viewers and they avoided every single person that they see mains a hero that's considered non-meta. What kind of message does that send out to the community? I appreciate Blizzard's attempt in creating a less toxic environment, but at the same time I don't know if they realize that it has the potential to do the opposite and could really result in the unfair treatment of certain people who like specific unpopular heroes and send out a message that only a certain few heroes should ever be played in comp. Sorry for rambling on, but I just think that rather than implementing this feature, I just thought Blizzard should have introduced, for example, like a preferred role select system or like some sort of feature that allows us to really congratulate and reward people for good behavior and good play. The next thing that I'm really concerned about is the queue times, because this feature is really going to mess with matchmaking, especially at the extreme ends of the player base spectrum. For example, in like really low ranks or really high ranks such as Grandmaster. And I know that Jeff pointed out that they will monitor this, but I'm just thinking practically, if you had a smaller region where everyone had someone different that they wanted to avoid, this is just going to mess with the queue times and it's going to take forever before anyone finds a game. Last but not least, this feature is limited to 2 freaking people, and in a server such as Australia, where everyone and their mom basically has like a Smurf or an alternate account, like what practical effect does this have? What's it gonna do? I'm just thinking, if you avoid someone, they're just gonna go on another account and do the same thing anyway. So I don't really think this is going to do much to stop like toxic or troll behavior, but it's going to punish those people who genuinely try on their mains, even though they play certain unpopular heroes such as Symmetra or Torbjorn. So to wrap up, I'm really not a fan of this feature. I mean, there were some positives, but now that I think about it, I really think the negatives outweigh the positives quite heavily. I think that it's just going to encourage more toxicity and not really solve any core problems with the game at the moment. I mean, as I said, I appreciate Blizzard's attempt in sort of coming up with solutions to problems, but I just think that practically it's not really going to be that useful. As you guys know, I keep it 100% real on this channel, and these are my honest opinions about this new system. So please sound off below and let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry if I sound a bit heated or if I was rambling in this video. Like, I'm quite passionate about this topic. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and thank you for watching.